Hello and good morning. Yes, it's me, Kenny Polcari, your host of the party, and today is Friday, February 21st, 2025. And here are the things you need to know to get your day started. So Walmart caused the market to fall yesterday? Really? Algos overreact to a 10b5-1 filing. We'll talk about that in a second. Financials getting dragged down on what? Default fears. Gold is churning, oil under bitter pressure, and bonds are holding steady. And what do we have at dinner tonight? We're having a dish called Gateau di Patate. It's a classic Neapolitan dish. Okay, so stocks finally took a breather and pulled back. And the best part of all this is they want you to believe that it's because of the weaker guidance by Walmart that caused this, right? I mean, it's comical. Walmart warned that their profit was going to fall short of estimates, and so the algos went into a frenzy, taking Walmart down 6.5%, with some people gasping in disbelief, as if this was really a disaster. Come on, it's not. Walmart is up 80% in the past 52 weeks. So you're telling me a 6.5% drawdown is sending shivers through investors in the broader market? Come on. Now, we'll talk more about that in a minute. And then you say, but what about Palantir? That was down 10% on Wednesday. It was down another 5% yesterday on two things. Number one, Pentagon budget cuts, and the news that CEO Alex Karp filed a 10b5-1 filing, right? It was a trading plan that indicates that he can sell up to 9.9 million shares of his Palantir holdings, which the market took as a negative. Because in another illogical move, the algos assume that if the CEO is selling stock, then he must know something, and thus he's getting out. Ridiculous. As my friend and fellow Fox Business commentator Mike Lee points out, the market's interpretation of that news clearly does not align with reality. So here's the skinny. A 10b5-1 trading plan is a predetermined and pre-announced stock sales schedule that allows the insider, in this case the CEO, to sell a set amount of stock over a predetermined period of time. It forces the executives to signal their plan publicly ahead of time so that the market is not surprised and so that no one can suggest or accuse him or them of trading on material non-public information. It's called planning and risk management. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. He, Alex, has over $11 billion of exposure in Palantir stock. You could say he's a bit top heavy, right? And as Mike points out, he's due to get more equity awards, making him even more top heavy in the name. So this is about planning. It's a non-event for the company, but it does create an event for who? The investor that wants to buy stock at what is now a 24% discount. Now, I'd still like to see it fill the gap that it created, 3 weeks ago down at 83.75, which would be a 47% discount, but let's not get greedy. This morning, the stock is quoted up $1.50 at 107.70. And then the banks. Oh no, the XLF losing nearly 2%, with even deeper losses in the individual names. JP Morgan down 4%, Goldman down 4%, Citibank down 3%, Bank of America down 1%. Why? Well, the logic suggests that if Walmart is warning of tougher times ahead, then that must mean that the consumer is struggling. And if the consumer is now struggling, the credit card balances and loans will come under pressure. Think credit defaults. Remember that whole loan loss reserve account thing I kept telling you about during earnings season? Yeah, well, this is where that rubber meets the road. Now, you can all say that the Walmart news is about more than just Walmart. You could argue that it speaks to the health of the consumer, right? Which is what they want you to kind of think about, right? Or some consumers. You could argue that we're seeing weakness in some of the consumer data points, right? I think the most recent one was the retail sales report that we got earlier this week. It was off more than the expectation. And that is what caused the algos to suddenly think, oh boy, what did we miss? And so it forces them and the rest of them, right, all the other algos, to do what they always do. Shoot first and ask questions later. And then that's when you get the losses. That's when you get the toss in all the other issues, right? Think tariffs and inflation and geopolitics and stock prices that are stretch and stretch and stretch. Something many of us have been saying for months now. But as usual, we just needed something, some catalyst to light the fuse to get it going. And that's why Walmart is being blamed, because the weaker guidance, by the way, was not expected. It caught the markets and the algos off guard. which, by the way, I would argue is not true at all. Walmart always starts the year off with conservative guidance. This way, it allows them to, guess what? Surprise on the upside, right, as the year progresses. It's not rocket science. This too is called risk/investor management, which creates another opportunistic event for the long-term investor. Capiche? Walmart is quoted up 0.3% this morning. And so, broadly, stocks came under pressure. The Dow lost 450 points or 1%. The S&P down 27 points or 0.4. The Nasdaq gave up 93 points or 0.5%. The Russell down 20 points, 0.9%. The transports gave back 82 points or 0.5%. The eagle-weighted S&P lost 21 points or 0.3, while the Mag 7 index gave back 155 points or 0.5%. Hardly a disaster at all. But like I've been saying, we need to test lower. We need to shake the branches a little bit. We need to see who is in and who is out. The minute it starts to get warm, it's not even hot yet in the kitchen, right? Can you imagine if it gets hot, what it's going to look like? Now, of the 11 S&P sectors, in the face of all this angst, energy gained 0.9. Healthcare up 0.5%. Real estate up 0.7. Of the losers, financials going to hit the worst, right? It's down nearly 2%. Consumer discretionary down 0.8, industrials down 0.7, communications down 0.5%, consumer staples down 0.4, with utilities ending the day flat, which was really a win. As you would imagine, the contra trades had a good day. The dog was up 1%, the SH up 0.4, PSQ was up 0.4, the VIXI gained 0.6% by the SPSX gaining 1.3%. Bonds rose, the TLT up 0.4, while the TLH was up 0.3. The 2-year Treasury yielding 4.25, really unchanged, and the 10 years yielding 4.48%, but still within that range that we discussed yesterday. Gold continues to trade in a tight range, $29.25 to $29.75. I still think it feels a bit tired up here, and I would not be surprised to see it kind of back and fill. Oil breached the trend line support at $72, right? Down 70 cents this morning at $71.75. The news remains confused. One day OPEC Plus is delaying production increases. The next day they're moving forward, causing all oil to decline and then surge, back and forth. And this morning, the word is that OPEC Plus is once again considering a delay, which I'm really not sure anyone believes anymore, especially since the Saudis told us yesterday that Chinese demand is up. In the end, there's plenty of supply coming from the non-OPEC producers, and that supply is expected to increase in the months ahead. So for now, oil remains in that $70, $74 trading range, right? This morning, U.S. futures are up. Dow up 60, the S&P's up 2, the Nasdaq's up 30, the Russell is up 8. Eco data today includes manufacturing and services PMIs, both expected to remain in expansionary territory, right? The expansion zone. We're also going to get existing home sales, and they too are expected to be a little bit weaker. Let's see if that whole rates are crushing demand theory comes true that Toll Brothers told us yesterday. Atlanta's Rafi Bostic taking to the stage, telling us that he expects the Fed to cut rates twice this year. I'm curious, do these guys get paid for saying that one day and then taking it back the next? What is he smoking? Did he not read the FOMC minutes? Was he not in the room when they made that decision? Did he not see the latest CPI and PPI? Is he that out of touch? Look, I remain in the we are not getting any rate cuts this year camp. And in fact, my gut still says that the risk is to the upside, right? But I'm also not an FOMC member, so I don't get to have a vote. European markets are up on the back of strong profits and excitement that maybe the Russian-Ukraine war is coming to an end. Just maybe. PMI activity in the Eurozone was disappointing, and that suggests that the zone is mired in stagflation. German elections are taking place this weekend, so there's lots of excitement around that. The sense is that traders are pulling for the conservative frontrunner to bring a coalition together to push through economic reforms and looser regulatory policies. Markets across the zone are up between 0.1% and 0.5% this morning. The S&P closed at 61.17, down 26 points. And while I would like to see us turn lower, futures, though, are a little bit higher this morning. My gut says that we need to at least test trendline support at 6,010, but I don't think that happens today. With futures pointing higher and no real negative headlines on the tape, my sense is that stocks are going to drift up, which only confirms my view. Talk to your advisor, create a plan, and then stick to it. Call me to discuss. I'm happy to discuss with you. Okay, so what do you have at dinner time? we're having this dish called Gateau di Patate, which is actually potato cake. It is a classic Neapolitan dish that is soon going to become one of your family favorites, and you'll wonder why it took you so long to try it, right? It's going to become one of those top 10 in your recipe book. Now, for this, you need mashed potatoes, right, that you made, right? You know how to do that, I'm assuming. Sweet sausage, ham, shredded nuts, fresh grated parmigiana, butter, eggs, light cream, and plain breadcrumbs. You want to boil your potatoes so you can get them ready, right? Now, when the potatoes are boiling, in a saute pan, you're going to saute the sweet sausage, break it all up, season it with salt and pepper, then set it aside. You're going to slice the ham, set it aside. When the potatoes are done, you're going to put them through the ricer, the potato ricer, right, to make them, nice and smooth and mashed. Then you're going to add 2 beaten eggs. You're going to add a stick of butter that you're going to cut up into pieces so it melts, a half a cup of light cream, salt, pepper, fresh grated parmigiana. Mix it really well, get it all nice and mixed. Then you're going to add in the sausage, the ham, and the shredded mozzarella. Mix it again so it's all mixed really well. Now, you're going to take a buttered baking dish. You're going to dust it with breadcrumbs on the bottom. You're going to place the potato mixture in the pan, spread it all out, top it with more breadcrumbs and 4 or 5 pats of butter, and then you're going to put it in the oven at 375 degrees, and you're going to cook it for about an hour. But watch it because you want it to be just toasty on the top. You don't want it to burn, right? When you take it out, let it cool for 5 minutes. I'm telling you, you are not going to be disappointed with this dish. This can be a dinner. You can have it as a dinner, or you can make it as a side dish, right? If you're having a big party, this works well as a big side dish too. If you have steak and chicken and all that stuff, you can make this and serve it as kind of a side dish. But trust me, you can also eat it as just a dinner dish, and it's not that difficult to make, and your kids are going to love it. And it's really comfort food, right? It like hugs you. In any event, it's Friday. The weekend is here. I'm going to New York on Sunday. I'm going to be in New York on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'll be back Wednesday afternoon, but you'll see me on Fox Business on Tuesday on the Big Money Show, and on Wednesday on Varney from 9 to 10. So until then, take good care.